super busy day today. I had to share this with you guys. So I'm mowing the cover crop, cutting it at the highest setting and then coming through at a lower setting because it's a lot for the BCS to handle. But check it out. It's been a busy week so far. We were forecasted hail last night, didn't even get rain, but we did bust out all this row cover, put it over all the salad beds to save that so it wouldn't get damaged, and at least it's out for the freeze that's supposed to come now, almost a month after the normal last frost date. This quarantine haircut's coming along good. The onions are coming along really well. So here's the cover crop residue that we mowed the other day, and it's rye and clover. So the clover is there for nitrogen, and for the bees, the rye is there because it's allelopathic, allelopathic, however you want to say it, but it actually releases some chemicals that will stop weeds from growing. So leaves will shed some of that, like in the rain, and the roots will exude some of that, and then you cut it down, you're left with this, whatever you want to call it, biomass, and that helps too. So it's under the tarp and it will break down, and whatever, if we need to seed it sooner than that, we'll just rake all this stuff into the walkway, step on it, and then have a weed-free walkway that will break down slowly over time while we plant the beds. The other part of this plot here, this was cover crop too. We just tarped it before that side, and you can see that it's just like regular beds. You've got a little bit of organic matter left over, but that's the rye. The idea is that that's stopping weeds from growing, and everything germinated and it's growing, so it seems to be doing all right. Every time we grow kohlrabi, we seem to get this oddball huge one. That's the one for this bed. Came through and took care of the cucumbers yesterday. They're growing pretty good. These guys are really productive. They're $1 a seed, but that's, if you're selling them, that's no price at all for how much you're going to sell. Tori just hand watered a bed of spinach that we seeded. Now she's covering it with the tarps. So I came into tunnel 1 here, and for the tomatoes, this tunnel got wrecked by the wind, and we lost a bunch. So I came through these spots where we lost them, like there, and I'm leaving some suckers on these plants. So I'm gonna leave this sucker here to grow up into that one spot, which isn't there because it flew out. So hopefully that works pretty good, and that's why, like, these strings here are angled. I'm just gonna try and take the suckers because they're really vigorous. Take those suckers and just fill that void with them. Next thing we gotta take, these are the Dark Galaxies. It's a really good tomato. We gotta get the string, come around the post, string these, Florida weave style, and this tunnel should be pretty good.
So we got the chicks in for the pasture poultry. We did pre-orders, so we're doing a round of 100 because that's all we have chicken tractors for. So yeah, they're in. So what I do is they get shipped to the post office and I go pick them up that day. I just pick them up, and then I'm going to take each one out and just dip their beaks in water and then just let them roam around in the chicken tractor. And I'm also going to put a little bit of apple cider vinegar in there. It helps with pasty butt, so I'm gonna do that.
We got some extra greenhouse plastic on here to hold some more heat and keep the wind off of them.
They're all in, so none of them died.
I know,
I'm,
that's
like
awesome.
so happy.
This is
So-
Cackle Hatchery, so
Yep.
out of Missouri.
Yeah, they're already eating too. It's like so crazy. We're just doing the Cornish cross. I've done Freedom Rangers in the past, and I like those as far as like the meat goes and the fat content of the Freedom Rangers. But they take 4 weeks longer than the Cornish cross, and this is what most people are used to. So that's what we're gonna do.
Alright, we just got compost. This is our 5th truckload here, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's like 100 yards compost.
So much. It feels like we go through it so fast too. Like, it's just crazy. Hopefully, once we get more on, it'll get better. Oh my god! Oh!
Definitely thought we were done putting these up, but looks like we're going to be doing it for the next 7 days. Forecast last night was 40, but you can never really trust it when you have these big dips in weather. At least I never have. And yeah, it actually got done to 37, so everything should be fine though with this much cover. Yep. This is by far the nicest bed of carrots I've ever grown. I kind of don't want to harvest them, but start the harvest today. Yeah, those are nice. George,
Afternoon.
what do you think of the cold coming?
Man, it stinks, but it's just kind of the reality of it.
Yeah. That's like probably 30 bunches or so. One of the cool things that got me interested in market gardening is the fact that you use the same beds over and over. And then there's a picture in JM's book of carrots like on a bed, and the canopy covers the soil. And it made a lot of sense to me before we even got into it. I was like, oh, that's smart. But so just want to explain to you guys the process of just this one bed. It's the same thing that happens on all the other beds. So this bed was initially salad mix when we started the farm, and I sold all of that to the Honey Hog. And then it was Sun Gold tomatoes, and then it was salad mix again because we had higher demand going into this winter. And then I seeded it into these carrots for early carrots in the tunnel, and then we had moved that tunnel over there. So since we've started, it's produced a lot of salad, a lot of tomatoes, and now a lot of carrots. That's pretty cool. I don't ever really get proud of my work or whatever, but those are pretty nice. It's our first slicer tomato starting. These plants look really good compared to where they were at after we planted them. They got beat up pretty bad. This is the compost we got yesterday. It's kind of carbony, kind of not. We got to get it from this place because we're certified naturally grown. So that's it. Yeah, we've been using it at our home garden here, and I've used it on some jobs before. It's from Earth Farms Organics in Dallas, North Carolina. It's like by Gastonia. Some upgrades in the wash station. Tori put some lights up, so that makes a big difference. Alright, a lot of people ask where we get the bags and stuff from.
Uline.
Uline. No, we're not lying. Uline. Let's hope we grow that many bunches of fruit crops this year.
9,000.
What?
Light! It's so nice. Don't have to wear a headlamp in here now. We have spinach, microgreens, salad mix, carrots, purple carrots, Swiss chard, kale, arugula, kohlrabi, turnips, beets, fennel, bunching onions, leeks, garlic scapes, and I think that's it.
The goose eggs, chicken eggs. This is how you clean your truck like a professional. It gets really dirty. Alright, got everything delivered this morning, and now we're just gonna get some beds prepped. We got on-farm pickups today at 3. And then the market's tomorrow, so be prepping for that. And yeah, typical Friday. Oh crap, I forgot about the tree of the week. Tree of the week. This is a white oak. So with white oaks, you're gonna have these leaves, these rounded lobes here. You can see the sharp points on those. That's a red oak. So generally speaking, you're gonna have rounded leaves or pointy leaves with your oaks. And the rounded is the white oak family, and the pointed is the red oak family. So you can see this bark here on this tree, and you can see the bark on that tree, and you have those furrows and those like dark, like the deeper parts of the bark are darker, and you can just see like it's almost like veins going up and down. That's a red oak bark. A white oak bark is gonna have this look to it, like a kind of scaly looking, but very distinct. And you'll have the rounded lobes and the leaves. Where I used to work at Bartlett at the research lab, there was these 2 white oaks. I think they're national champions, something like that. One of those trees, I think, was. But absolutely massive, like branches of the tree, like 3/4 the way up the canopy, were the size of this tree. And this is pretty big. But it's pretty cool to work on trees like that. We got to work on them. What you also have with white oak, a lot of times, it's kind of hard to see. They kind of generally have more of an open canopy. that's a terrible representation of it, but just know that that's one of the things. So yeah, white oak, that bark with the round leaves, and then you have red oaks, that bark with the pointy leaves. Another characteristic for oaks is the end buds will be in this sort of a larger cluster. An end cluster of buds is pretty common for oaks. So rounded lobes, this bark, white oak. And this added thing here, because it's just here, this is smilax, and the ends of it here are edible. It's pretty good. And I eat the tendrils too. Just like back in the day we used to call it Indian gum. And the stem is the green stem with the thorns. Deer really like to eat the smilax from what I've been told. Alright, gotta come out here Saturday after the markets. The market went good. Getting a freeze tonight. 2020 is like, here's a late freeze for you too, along with everything else. It's ridiculous. So we got a couple options. Either you put row cover over everything, like this, and hope that it doesn't blow off in the middle of the night, or you come out at 4:30, run the irrigation and everything for like 3-4 hours, or hope that the soil is releasing enough heat that it's not really gonna freeze. But inside the tunnels, where you have your tender warm season crops that really normally don't have an issue after mid-April here in North Carolina, definitely gonna double cover those. Even though it is in the tunnel, it will still get cold enough to damage the fruit, and as we're selling things weekly, we need things to be available weekly. So as much protection as we can give them to keep moving and not slow down or get damaged, the better. Oh, they're covered. Now I'm just gonna close the tunnel and let it get super hot in here, and then that should hold some heat overnight.